Hello and welcome to the DTC High School Football Preview, Owls edition. Today, I'm the coach, Chris Vance for DTC, joined by Matt Dyer, the head football coach of the Smith County Owls. And Matt, what have you had to put on hold now the football is here?
Oh gosh, life, I guess. I don't know. No, we've been blessed, me and my wife, with a third child here pretty recently, back at the end of April. It was our second little girl, little Masson Ann, so we're blessed by God to have that in our life. And also we had to buy a new house, so all that got put on hold, while we're starting football. But no, we're glad it's nearly here, something we've been working towards all off season, getting everything ready, getting all the guys ready. Our guys have attacked the weight room, extremely hard. Had a lot of buy-in, a lot of growth, a lot of guys developing. Like I said, getting in the weight room, busting their tail and getting after it. So, we're glad it's finally here. So yeah, everything's going good, Chris. Appreciate it.
Talk a little bit about your coaching staff.
We got a lot of continuity coming back. Coach Jason Harville's coming back as our defensive coordinator. We got a new offensive coordinator this year, and Coach David Reed. He's been a big presence in our middle school programs and our youth programs over the last 20-some-odd years. He's coached all of these guys through some form or fashion, whether they were coming up through youth league or they were coming up through middle school. This upcoming junior class, he was their head coach, and they were very successful at every level he's ever had. But he's always been on our staff as a volunteer, but we elevated him this year as our offensive coordinator. We added Coach Josh Hackett from Watertown. I've known Josh a long time. He's a great coach. He's not just a great coach, he's a great educator, great teacher, great person, an even better friend as well. His wife works in our school system. She teaches at Defeated, so he was glad to kind of be home. He graduated from here, he's an alumni of here. He's going to help us on both sides of the ball. He does a lot of defensive stuff with Coach Harville, and also he's going to be coaching some of our tight ends and running backs on offense. We bring back Coach Cody Jett doing our offensive and defensive line. Coach Jett does a great job getting those guys prepared week in and week out. He also helps Coach Harv with the defensive scouting each week. He puts together great scouting reports for us and for our players. Coach Cody Anderson, who did our weight room program this offseason, he returns this year as one of our volunteer assistants. He does a great job with those guys. We're really proud to have him. Coach John Mark Gammons, this will be his second year on our staff. He's coaching our quarterbacks. He does a great job with them, working technique, fundamentals, and just helping them develop as play callers, or but as quarterbacks. I know probably got a few other. Coach Steve Bray, he's no longer volunteers, that helps us. He's my get-back coach. He's also kind of our maintenance guy. He helps with the field, helps with all the odds and ends, especially on a Friday night when we're loading the trailer, getting all our technology on the sideline and all that. Coach Adam Fulton's another one of our volunteers. He helps with our technology stuff. I know I'm probably forgetting. I think I've gone through everybody. But we got a lot of guys that help within our program. Coach Dave Silcox, he's a principal over at the Carthage Elementary. He's another guy that he helps throughout the week, every Friday night. But yeah, with a lot of continuity with our staff, and with high school football, if you can kind of have some sense of continuity, then you already are ahead of the page pretty much. And we have a great staff, one of the better staffs that I've ever been with. I believe they're doing a great job of developing our guys. They're doing an even better job of building relationships with our guys. And once a high school, these new age high school players, when you can build trust, build a relationship with them, they'll do a lot more for you, and the buy-in's a lot easier. And that's why I feel like we've got a very good staff that's building those relationships with players and then also developing them during practice. So I'm proud of our coaching staff. They worked their tail off all off season, and they're ready for the grind.
Played a lot of freshmen and sophomores last year. Who are you relying on offensively and defensively to help you bounce back this year?
Well, like you said, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. We started 5 freshmen and 8 sophomores. We only had a 5-man senior group. We've got another small senior group. I believe we got 6 seniors on this year's squad, but we got 19 juniors and we got 10 sophomores. So we literally bring back nearly all of our starters, minus just a few from last year. Jermaine Kaysen, Paxton Hicks, Wyatt Claywell, Jaden Evans, some of those guys. But of course, we bring back our starting quarterback, Riley Martin. This will be his 3rd year as our starting quarterback. He's made all region the last 2 years, and he threw for 1,800 yards as a freshman, threw for over 1,000 last year. He's thrown for over 30 touchdowns. He's done a great job of handling that responsibility and that role since his freshman year. So we're looking for big things out of Riley this year as a junior. He's about 6'2" right now, and he's nearly 200 pounds. I want to say he's about 195, and he's putting on good weight even through this off-season period. We normally see a lot of guys kind of lose weight with the heat and the conditioning and sprint work and everything, but he's continuously gaining weight. He's had a great off-season in the weight room. He's gotten a lot stronger, and we look to maybe even run him a little bit more. And but we're looking for big things coming out of Riley Martin this year. A couple other guys on the offense side of the ball. Cole Hackett's going to be another guy who's played a lot since his freshman year. As a receiver, as a defensive back. In addition to our offense is Dylan Raines. He played basketball last year. We begged him to come out. He finally did. He's been with us all off season in the weight room. He's a monster. I anticipate him having a huge year this year. He's about 5'11", 200 pounds, fastest kid on the team, super strong to be going into his sophomore year. But he's going to be a great addition for us in the backfield. Caden Mason returns last year. He was our leading rusher as a freshman. I believe he had a little over 350 yards, something like that. And we look for him to have another big year for us in the backfield. We got a lot of pass catchers that are going to help us. Gage Gibbs going into his junior year. He's a big target. He's a huge kid, very fast. Got long strides. He can create great separation. He's going to help us also on the defensive side of the ball as well. One of our big threats this year is going to be Lucas Cornwell. And he's about 6'6", 220-pound tight end going into his sophomore year. He's already got 3 collegiate offers coming off of a very good freshman year where he made all region. So we look to kind of feature him a little bit. He's going to be playing both sides of the ball, outside linebacker, tight end for us on offense. So we expect big things from Lucas. He's a big, strong kid. He's deceptively fast because he's so big. He's got those long strides. He can separate from you pretty quick and you not even really notice it just because how big he is. And we got a couple other contributors, Max Long, Gabriel Myers. We have a lot of guys that can do good things with the ball in their hands. So, we're going to try to distribute the ball, get the ball around to people to where they can help us put a lot of points on the board, move the ball up and down the field. Defensively, we got Rustin Kemp and Colt Shoemake playing linebacker for us. Both of them are going into their sophomore year. They put on good weight. I think Rustin is nearly 200 pounds. He'll probably start on offensive line as well. Colt is about 185, but he has really transformed his body and his speed in the off-season. Some of our defensive linemen, you got Bryson Halliburton, Ethan Montgomery, and Will Barnes. I believe they're going to have a great year as a unit. All 3 of those guys are also on our offensive line as well. But they're very physical. They're going to attack the line of scrimmage, and that's kind of been our big thing this offseason is, how can we get more physical? How can we get a little bit meaner? Instead of being a bunch of choir boys on the field, we almost have to be some criminals, if you want to try to win ball games. So that's kind of been a big emphasis for us this offseason. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of other guys because, we've got 43 guys on the team, and there's about 30 or so guys that are going to contribute in some way, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, both ways. We've got a lot of guys that we found just roles for them, whether it's memorizing a specific play. If it's a guy that, hey, we can only run jet with him because he can't catch, that's okay. If we got a guy that's fast and can stretch the field, we'll throw it to him. He can't remember any run play, but he can remember to go deep. Or if we got a big receiver that can't catch a ball, but he's a very active, aggressive blocker, we'll put him in there to throw nows and quicks and crack block. But I expect offensively to be very improved. Defensively, we'll be very improved. And I feel like our speed is going to be pretty good for us this year. We're moving quick around the ball. We're getting to the ball. And just our overall team speed is much improved from last year, and our strength, and just our overall size.
Talk a little bit about this new region, 3-2A.
Well, we got a few of the same teams in it with us and Jackson County and Trousdale County. Cannon County is dropping down from 3A into our region, and that's kind of an old opponent that we've had in past regions when we were old 3A, a little time ago. But the biggest addition is probably going to be Gordonsville. That's probably the biggest anticipated matchup in this new region. Them going from 1A to 2A, you know, they're growing, they're getting bigger. Their enrollment's nearly the same as ours, you know, now. And but that's probably going to be the big matchup of the year. It's coming in week 10. It's going to be electric atmosphere. It's going to be great for the community. I would anticipate big things that night. You know, it's almost like a true last person out of town, turn off the lights moment. I believe it's going to be just a huge, great atmosphere for players, coaches, community members. It's going to be fun for everybody when Halloween comes, which it's on a Thursday night. But that's probably going to be the biggest addition to our region. But I still believe it's a very competitive region. You know, Trousdale County is still very young, just like us. I believe they'll be improved this year. Cannon County has a couple of players that I believe are on some watch lists, have some collegiate offers. They're going to be improved. And then Jackson County was like us. They were young last year. I anticipate them getting a lot better. And then I do believe us and Gordonsville also both, you know, we come off a 2-9 season. They come off a 6-5 season. But it's still a very competitive region, I believe. And I believe Sparks will fly in that Week 10 matchup.
I think that Smith County-Gordonsville rivalry is one of the best across the state of Tennessee. And having it in the same region, like you say, playing the last week of the season is only going to enhance that rivalry.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and it's a fun rivalry. It is great for everybody in the community. And like you said, it's going to be electric and it's going to be fun.
That's going to wrap up this edition of the high school football preview for DTC. I want to thank Coach Matt Dyer for joining us and giving us his commentary. For DTC, I'm the Coach Chris Vance. Want to thank you and make sure that you catch us next time when we come around for another segment of the high school football preview.